What's going on, guys? This is an interesting topic for me, talking about my journey with community, because as with any journey in life, I guess, maybe it's just me, there's been a lot of ups and downs with it. And as I've mentioned in many videos, I'm in a new place, physically, location wise, in a new place mentally, in a new place as far as season of my life. And it brought about this reflection and this conversation around community. And I'm figuring I'd move a little bit here as well. But my journey with community has been interesting. And I will throw it all the way back to when I was a young child in elementary school. I really did not have community. I didn't have a group of friends that I connected with, that I clicked with. And that's probably due to just not really having a big neighborhood I grew up in and always being kind of busy with parents' schedules and things like that. It wasn't actually until I moved to Raleigh as a kid that I started to develop community. Honestly, started to develop my first set of friends. And this sounds so simple, but it was such an important experience to me to start to develop friendships, start to develop opportunities to hang out with multiple friends, because I believe that that is a important part of our human experience, is that we have some group of people that we want to be around. Now, I know some of you are introverts, and so people don't charge you as much as extroverts are. And I think I fall somewhere in between. I certainly appreciate my alone time, but I also love being with people. But with community, what I'm referring to is a large gathering, a large group of people, 3, 4, 5 people or more, where you know a lot of these people, you can connect with a lot of these people. And if someone doesn't have that through family, then a lot of times they have to build that on their own. And so community can become hard. And I believe building community and having community evolves in different stages of life. And I have people in my life who are at later points in life than I am, who've told me about their experiences building community. And I'm here to share about mine. And really, when it started, my community didn't develop some type of small group of friends really till I was in middle school, actually the 7th grade. Had very close friends of mine, Don and Hansi, come about, had another very close friend, Alex, come about, and we all started hanging out together. And we had a fantastic time. And we would continue to hang out with each other, certainly outside of school, but definitely in school as well. Alex was actually at a different school. And then high school came around, and that's when things shifted again. And this is going to be a recurring theme in my community journey, is that sometimes there is a dip in your connections or community before you can build that back up. And I think it's healthy to share that, because if you do not have expectations and you don't have realistic understanding of how things may happen for you, then it's very easy to feel defeated. It's very easy to feel like I'm putting myself out there, I'm trying to have conversations, and you're not giving yourself time for the work and the efforts that you have to catch up, because community is all trust-based, it's connection-based, it's commonality-based. And so everyone's in different stages. I happen to be, a single male, but building community for someone who's at a earlier stage or later stage of life is different. I believe building community as a female, as a lady, is probably going to be different. Building community as a couple with no kids is different. Building a community as a couple with multiple kids is different. Building a community, having a dog is different, right? So there's all these different things. There's all these different opportunities for you to build community, but you first have to establish where you are, and then you have to have proper expectations of how long it will take. And then thirdly, you have to do the work that it takes. And so flashing back to my community journey, after I got out of middle school, there was a period of about a year in high school where I didn't have classes with any of my friends. I didn't have all the same connections. We hung out after school. We hung out afterwards, all our obligations and responsibilities. But I really didn't have that. And honestly, that was a very lonely time for me. That was a very challenging time in my life, because I love my friends. I love people. I love being able to go out and just hang out and have a great time. That's one of the core human experiences that's super important to me. And I didn't have that. And it wasn't till 10th grade that I moved schools and started joining a lot of the swim teams, the tennis teams, the clubs, building new relationships in classrooms, and my community sprung up again. And it was great, and it was awesome, and it was fantastic. And then again, freshman year hit, and none of my friends went to the same school as me. So I had to rebuild community again, and I didn't do a great job of putting myself out there. Or if I did, it was in settings where I didn't have any commonalities with people. And so I had to build that back up. And I actually took a study abroad trip my sophomore year in college and came back and said, I'm going to change things. I'm going to get involved again. I'm going to go out there. And I did. And I built incredible relationships. One of my best friends came from that experience, Joseph, who's actually a friend of mine in DC today. And we had great experiences and great times together. I knew a ton of people in college, awesome experiences. Fast forward to first year out of school. Everybody's gone. Everybody's left. Sajin's on his own again. And I really struggled with community. And at that time, I actually was introduced to a business community who are entrepreneurs building businesses using e-commerce platforms. And that relationship started. And a year later, I moved to Charlotte to get closer to them. And I finally was able to start building community again. And then COVID hit. And we know what COVID did to us. And fortunately, I had an amazing roommate at the time. Shout out to Brantley, great guy, awesome father, awesome husband today. And we had each other in that situation, but we didn't have community. It was very challenging in that time. A lot of other things going on in life as it was with COVID, but very challenging. Now fast forward, I've moved to a new city. And again, I have to restart. And so my journey with community has been one where didn't have anything in elementary school. In middle school, I had something, built it up, it stopped. Had to build it up again in high school, it stopped. Had to build it up again in college, it stopped. Had to build it up after post-grad, it stopped. I've moved again, now I have to build it up again. But my strategic advantage is I have proper expectations, I know my journey, and I know the work that it takes to build real long-term lasting relationships. And I hope on some levels that I'm able to stay in a city and stay in a location and maintain these friendships. But people move. I live in a very transient place, and people have different decisions and life decisions on their own that they have to take, and that's fine. But having proper expectations allows you to make it through those seasons. And being in those seasons for me has actually been very healthy, because in those seasons where I haven't had that community, I get a lot of time to reflect. I get a lot of time to be with myself, to be very independent. Anytime you're with a community, there are obligations that come, just like any relationship. People expect you to hang out. People expect you to be at certain things. And it doesn't mean you can't live your own life, but you do lose some of that freedom potentially. And so there's always an adventure and an excitement with that, but there's always a beauty in the seasons where you're not there. And ultimately, maybe that's the message I want to communicate, is embrace the place that you're in. Community is very important, but know that there's always something to learn. There's always something positive to take from where you're at, and to make it the best opportunity that you can be with the one life that you have. So grateful for you guys who've listened and who want to share, like, comment, subscribe. Really enjoy sharing my thoughts and fostering conversations around these type of things, and hope you guys have a great Thursday.